Hello, my name is Michael Price. I'm a sales recruiter. I have been for 25 years. I'm based in the UK and I'm recruiting for a salesperson to be based in Germany. My client is a market leader. I know a lot of companies will say they're market leaders. This company actually really is a market leader. So the company themselves, worldwide footprint of more than 160,000 clients. They're a US vendor. Their European HQ is in the UK. They have offices in Europe, one of which is in Munich, and they sell EDI software. I think it's fair to say that EDI isn't necessarily the sexiest technology that candidates sell. You know, it's not AI, it's not automation or any of those other hot topics. However, I think there comes a point at which candidates need to sell software that companies need to buy. And EDI is unbelievably important within supply chain, ERP, retail, e-commerce. You know, it's one of the most important components of those solutions, particularly when those solutions are modernized or change, and that link between them needs to be maintained. The role's a new business role. They've got a very carefully and well-built process to win new business. So the salesperson will research 20 companies. It's important that you research those companies really carefully, because the information that you find, which you then pass on to a BDR, affects the whole quality of the output that the BDR will return back to you. Average order value, 30 to 60K first year ARR. Typically, it's a 3-year deal. And if you just follow those very simple metrics that are here, so research 20 companies, give them to a BDR. On average, the BDR books one appointment from those 10 companies. On average, the close rate is 1 in 4. That's how the salespeople hit the target here. And then you manage the account thereafter and look after any upgrades or any cross-sale or any of those pieces. Now, what's interesting is in the UK, they've got a guy who is the best salesperson in Europe, and I placed him there. And I said to my client, what does he do well? And my client said, well, actually, just the quality of his research that he gives to the BDRs is so good that it means his conversion rate across each of those points is just slightly better. So he doesn't work any harder. He just makes sure the quality of the work is better, and therefore the end output is stronger. So what are the client looking for? Really, you need to have sold something that sits in that ecosystem, some form of SaaS software that has some linkage into ERP, supply chain, e-commerce, something in there really. You need to have a structured new business sales approach. They have a very structured system. It works. They're going to advocate that you follow their system. And as part of that, you will need to be comfortable with having a structured approach to winning new business. From a vertical perspective, they're completely open in terms of the verticals to which you currently sell to. I think it's very unlikely somebody who currently sells to the public sector will get this role. So basically, it's up to 100K. Now, in some instances, when I've recruited for them in other European countries, UK included, actually they set out this top line basic, but they have recruited people who are on less than that, who have some of the right skills, who want to step into a more enterprise environment. And the same is true here. Clearly, they're not going to stray too far away from 100K. So if you're on 20K basic, you're not going to get this job. But actually, if you're on 75, 80K basic, will you get 100K basic here? Maybe, but certainly don't feel that your skill set won't be quite good enough, because you're not going to be measured on your basic salary as part of their qualification criteria. I also think that as long as I've ever done this job, the most successful candidates work for the best companies. It's a lot easier to work for a market leader than it is to work for a second-ranked company. And this company in EDI really actually is the market leader. My contact details are on the screen, also the email address of my colleague Jo. It's unlikely I'll speak to her, but I have included her email address anyway. Thank you. I'll hopefully speak to you soon.